Hello there, my name is Alicia, aka Edmiston Creations, and I am a wife, mom, social worker, and athlete living in the mountains of South Central New Mexico. And this is a space where I like to share mostly about the things that I've been making, but also I like to share a bit about what I've been doing with my family and pepper in some social work or mental health and wellness tips along the way. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, then please like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on anything that I share. So first off, welcome. It's been a busy month again. Well, I say that and then I'm like, well, has it really been busy? I think that I have had to really do some honest reflection and soul searching this past month about frequency of posting a video to my YouTube channel. And it really seems like what's going to work well for me now and moving forward for the foreseeable future is to just do a monthly update. I think that honestly, starting out a weekly podcast episode sounds really enticing, and it even feels quite doable. But when I look at my values and really what's important to me, one of my big guiding forces this year is to slow down and be intentional with my time. And for me to do that, doing a podcast episode weekly or even bi-weekly really does not align with that value of slowing down. So monthly it is. And we'll see about that. I'm going to continue to just stay in touch and get a feel for what really works well for me. But right now, monthly feels right and doable. I do enjoy this space and I enjoy sharing with each of you, what I've been doing, what I've been making. I love talking in more depth about what I've been making and why I've been doing it. But, like I said, more importantly, I want to get more at some deeper things, talk about mental health and some social work practices that can show up in our making process. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. So today, I'm going to kind of give a little bit of an overview here of like where we're going to go, and we'll see what we have time for. So I, want to share a bit about what I'm wearing. I do have some finished objects to show and talk about Me Made May. I have some sewing, some knitting, some sock yarn to talk about, and what's on deck. I have some whips to show and what's on deck for sewing for me coming up. So let's dive in. Let's start with what I'm wearing. So I am wearing the Brume sweater by Andrea Mowry. I was so fortunate to be able to test knit this pattern, and it released a few weeks ago. I have been living in this sweater. I knit it twice. So it's like broom on broom here. This is knit in Odang DK by the Farmer's Daughter Fibers. This is the sample that I did in Evergreen for the test knit itself. And then I could not pick what color I wanted to do. So, this is the first time I have ever knit a sweater that I could not pick a color. I loved Evergreen and I loved Ranch Romance and I wanted to knit them both. And I'm like, I mean, I remember thinking to myself, am I crazy to knit 2 of these? This is crazy. I could just pick one and it'll be fine. But then as soon as I split for the sleeves on this sweater and I was just maybe an inch or so into the body and I tried it on, I was like, oh my gosh, no, I'm not crazy at all for knitting 2 of these. This is the best sweater of all time. I mean, literally, like that was the thought that I had. So I immediately cast it on the Ranch Romance one. So I had these 2 going simultaneously during the test knit, and I finished this one first. I focused on finishing this one, and then I finished up the body and the sleeves of this one after the test knit concluded. I kind of knit it at my leisure and finished when I finished. So there's so much that I love about this sweater. I love the neckline, just something nice and cozy to have around. I mean, but it doesn't touch your neck per se and itch your neck if you're sensory sensitive. So I like that. I can make it touch my neck if I want it to, but I have this sense of warmth around my neck without that sensory perception thing. I love the yarn is the Odang DK is to die for. I will admit, I was skeptical at first whenever Candace mentioned releasing this yarn, I don't know, last year sometime. I was just like, I mean, that's cool. I like Surrey. I like Odang lace weight. That's cool, but I don't know, what would I make with Odang DK? Well, insert Andrea Mowry and her design prowess, and here you go. Like, this is the perfect fit. It's a raglan sweater. It fits so nice, top down. I mean, you can try it on as you go. It's a quick knit. I did knit this on the recommended needles in the pattern. I achieved gauge with the recommended needles. So it's a quick and satisfying knit, and I mean, I knit 2 very quickly, and I do have plans for another one after the sweater was released. Andrea shared that she knit her second sample in Spencer's Daughter and Odang lace weight held together for a denser fabric version of the sweater. And I'm like looking at the Spencer's Daughter that I'm going to use that's in my stash to make one for the fall. I have Many Moons in Spencer's Daughter, so a wonderful cream colored one is calling my name. So I definitely need one for the fall because these are the best sweaters to just throw on. They're lightweight, they're warm. I wear them in the mornings and the evenings to keep the chill off whenever I am knitting on the deck, watching the sunrise and watching the sun set from my deck. So I don't know what else to say other than, if you have not knit this sweater, like, why have you not knit this sweater yet? And I mean, it's just one of these great sweaters to knit multiples of. Very similar in feel, I think, to the DRK Everyday sweater. Like, that's another one I think is really great for multiples. Except for that one's a circular yoke and this one's a raglan. So, if you really like the fit of a raglan sweater, this is a great one to make. And if you love Surrey, you will be very happy that you knit this sweater in Odang DK, I promise. So no peer pressure there, though. I mean, I really want to emphasize, like, my overall hope in sharing these thoughts about the things that I make is, that you take the information and mindfully choose for yourself what you want to knit and sew or make in your own wardrobe. Don't just make this because I said so. I really would like for you to make it because it really does fit your style and what you're looking for to add to your me-made wardrobe, if that makes sense. But 10 out of 10, I can say that I would make this 1,000 times over. So, and I don't know, who knows? I might over the course of my lifetime. So I styled, and I styled the Brume sweater with Arthur pants. So for the release. So I wanted to talk about the Arthur pants just a little bit because I made 2 pairs. Again, when I find something that works for me, I just I go with it. So I took the Sew Liberated's Fit and Sew Pants course, and actually for Me Made May, they are doing a 30% off sale for all their patterns and courses, like site-wide. So now is a really good time if you've been thinking about taking any of the Sew Liberated sewing courses to do that, because 30% off is a pretty sweet deal. But anyway, I made both of these Arthur pants out of Grace Hemp fabric from U Fibers. So these both came to me in Make the Look bundles. And so they come, if you've never done a Make the Look bundle from U Fibers, your fabric, your notions, like the zipper, the button, a new needle for my sewing machine, the interfacing, the thread, everything I needed to make each pair of Arthur pants came in this cute little bag, and I had everything I needed to make 2 pairs of Arthur pants. And I wanted to show you, because whenever I wear these and post on Instagram, I can't really show this. They both came, I'm gonna take these off the hanger. They both came with this cute little U Fibers, You Made It tag. Isn't that the cutest ever? So both of my pants have a You Made It tag in them inside, but I talked about a little bit on the last, you can see how flowy this fabric is, but it's still quite heavy duty, like a bottom weight fabric for sure. The modifications I made in this pant, which also were the same for this one because I cut the fabric from the same pattern after I modified it. I raised the crotch curve in these pants up by 3 inches. So I actually on the pattern drew a rise line on the front and back of the pants. I drew that in myself, and I shortened the rise by 3 inches. And then I did redraw, I hand drew the crotch curve in the back to slope the way I wanted it to after shortening it 3 inches, because the crotch rise, or the crotch curve, is quite gentle for the back since it's such a low crotch in the pattern initially. So so I changed that, and the pants now fit exactly the way that I want them to. The rise is perfect. They're still high-waisted pants on me. It's just the crotch isn't so low. And because I have made the Arthur pants a couple of times before, I knew that I had shortened the pant leg of those by 3 inches. So this time what I did with the pattern, changing the rise by 3 inches, now my pant leg sat exactly where I needed it to be. So I didn't need to make any adjustments to the lower part of the leg. So that was really cool. Anyway, it's been really empowering to start to modify some of my patterns, to make these small tweaks here and there to get the fit exactly the way I want. Considering I started sewing in March of last year, 2023, so considering I'm just a little over a year into my sewing journey, I'm really happy with that being kind of where I'm at now in my sewing journey. So it's fun. It's fun to learn new skills and to adjust things and to end up with things that you really love. So I highly recommend the Grace hemp fabric is a great fabric if you want to try that out from U Fibers. And the Arthur pant is just a really fun, comfortable pant to wear. Also, since this is a zipper fly pant, but it does have an elastic back waist, so you do have some play with getting the fit exactly the way you want to your waist. So this is also a good pant to try the zipper fly version if you're a little nervous about that and still get a great fit. So I guess I just kind of jumped in the show and tell. Let's talk a little bit about Me Made May, and then I will continue with some show and tell. So this year for Me Made May, I don't know about you, but I didn't really know a whole lot about the origins of Me Made May and the founder of Me Made May. Actually, she is, her handle on Instagram is SOZO blog, Sozo blog, and she has a podcast herself. It's a voice cast. And she has an episode talking about what's the intention and purpose with the Me Made May challenge. She talks about what Me Made May is and what it isn't, why she started it, and all of that. And so I will link to that podcast episode because I found it really insightful. I listened to it just this week and I really enjoyed it. But also she had a couple of posts on her own Instagram page about what Me Made May is and what it isn't. And, before I really, dove into this, I just kind of loosely knew what Me Made May was because it is a very popular thing. And you see the hashtag Me Made May stuff like everywhere the month of May on Instagram if you're a maker. And so it's really easy to make assumptions about what Me Made May is. And I do think it's okay to interpret Me Made May like however it really works for you. But I really liked hearing from the founder herself what the intention of the challenge was. I knew Me Made May had to do with sewing. But that was really about all I knew. Yeah, I sewed and I made this thing and like, yay, let's celebrate it. And that's really about all I knew. So I did want to share, this is directly from her Instagram account, that Me Made May is a wardrobe challenge to help you improve your relationship with your handmade wardrobe, both your existing items and your future makes. And I think that that's a really important distinction to make here. And I'm a relationship person, so when I read that, I was like, wow, this really is something I want to do, because I mean, it's about me and my relationship with my personal wardrobe, and the things that I make. Mindful wardrobe right there. So I really like the intention behind the challenge. And she goes on to clarify in another post what Me Made May is not. And so Me Made May is not a making challenge. It's not about making new stuff, and you don't have to make new stuff for Me Made May. Me Made May is not a photo challenge. If you want to document things photographically or share them, then that's up to you, but you don't have to. And Me Made May is not a competition. It's personal. So, I mean, you're not competing with anybody else to have the best Me Made May stuff, or Me Made wardrobe. It's about your relationship with your wardrobe. That's it. And you also don't need to have a whole bunch of handmade clothes. you can learn useful lessons from the things you already have. So one thing that it really stood out to me when I listened to her podcast about what Me Made May was about was she actually chooses to pause making or slow down her sewing altogether the month of May. So she really can absorb, um, her experience in wearing her Me Made items throughout the month of May. And initially she made this challenge so she would start wearing her hand sewn or handmade garments because she was finding like she was thinking, well, they're too fragile, I'll mess them up or whatever. And so this was to help her to start to wear the things she was making. And so yeah, like, and then you can create your own pledge for the month of May. So I think, you know, I don't think that you have to stop making in the month of May. I also don't think you have to make things specifically for Me Made May. But if you really want to, I think that's okay too, For me, my pledge for Me Made May is to mix and match the sewn items I have already and the hand knit or crocheted items that I have already, and really push my limits of styling, playing with colors and textures and fibers, and like pushing those limits of, does this go together or not? I don't care. It just makes me smile. I want to wear it. And really my inspiration for my pledge is my daughter, Ella. She's 5, but she has the coolest sense of style, I think. I mean, she really it's all about joy for her. I mean, colors, whatever. I can wear red and hot pink. Like that was a total faux pas, like whenever I was growing up. I can wear flowers and pumpkins. Who cares? Like, yay, this makes me happy. I'm going to throw on a tutu. And, it doesn't matter at all to her. But she pulls together some of the coolest textiles and color combinations of all time, I swear. So it's like, really my pledge for the month of May is to be more like Ella. And just instead of listening to these rules in my head about what looks good or what styles well together, to just do it. Just try it and see what it looks like, and wear it for the day. I mean, hell, it's just a day. What does it matter? So that's really my challenge. Now, I am going, because making brings me so much joy, I am still going to be very much be sewing and knitting through the month of May, but I will only be doing so from stash. I am not going to accrue more items through the month of May. I really want to break from spending. It's so easy to spend, isn't it? But I have some planned projects that I'm really, really, really excited about that I'm going to share a little bit later. And so, yeah, like that's going to be my pause, is to really just focus on the projects that I'm in and that I've planned, and not think about more beyond that. That time will come when these projects come to a close, but right now we're still in it, and I'm just going to enjoy being in it. So, I really would be curious to hear, what your thoughts are about Me Made May. Are you participating or not? And if so, what's your pledge? Again, I think that it's totally cool to make things just for Me Made May, or to continue making through the month of May. It's really just personally what works for you and what brings you joy. Let joy be your guide. I guess is the overall message there. So, yeah, that's it about Me Made May. Okay, so now let's talk about whips. Okay, my last podcast, I was working on the ostinato cardigan. I have finished that. That is by Jeanette Knits. It's still in testing. The testing period is not over. I will share that when it releases. I am done with the knitting. I need to sew my Idlewild clay buttons on there, but yeah, I'm super excited. I'm going to sew a metamorphic dress to style with it. And so I'm really excited to show that outfit to you when it comes to life, because I still need to sew the dress. The fabric is in the dryer right now to press and cut out. So lovely pattern by Jeanette. I want to make another one. It's a great staple piece. I knit that cardigan in like 2 weeks. I was obsessed with the pattern. It's just so simple and elegant. Jeanette really elevates design in a very clear way, and just in a very simple way. And I appreciate that, because there's not really any guesswork whenever you're knitting it. So anyway, I will talk more about that once it's released. But yeah, so that's a finished object that's done from last time, but I'm not ready to share just yet. I did knit it in Ranch Romance Confluence cotton. This sweater really started my obsession with Ranch Romance. But speaking of Ranch Romance, I have a pair of socks in Ranch Romance too. So this is the Kindling sock by Larkspur Knits. Admittedly, I just haven't been knitting on my socks in a few weeks, because I've been sucked into the world of sweater knitting yet again. I mean, sweaters are 100% my love language when it comes to knitting. So I've been neglecting my sock knitting some, but they're neglected but not forgotten. These will get finished soon, because I want to wear them. And this is Bear Paw Sock Ranch Romance. So I love the way that Ranch Romance looks on all of the different bases that Candace carries at Farmer's Daughter. Because of the yak in this one, the Ranch Romance is a bit moodier, because you can see kind of the grayish, kind of undertone of the wool. But anyway, I love these. They have a little garter stitch heel. They're very quick to knit when you actually work on them. And so I've been using these as my knit and walk project some, and they've been great. So they fit very well, and I cannot wait to wear them. So I've been focused on finishing these. So I have not casted on my new sock yarn for the Farmer's Daughter Fiber Sock Squad that I'm a part of. So I did want to share, because I am obsessed with the yarn that I've gotten for the sock club. This is April's Farmer's Daughter Fibers Sock Club yarn, and it is so pretty. I also want to do a Larkspur knit. I really like Larkspur knits sock patterns, and I like the fit of all of her socks that I have made. So I'm kind of on a Larkspur knits sock kick, honestly. Highly recommend all of her sock patterns. So I think I'm going to do the coffee order socks with these. That's a newer released pattern of hers. But I also might do the cabin fever ones. They have like little cabin and pine trees. Really cute. I don't know. We will see. I'm going to finish these Ranch Romance socks first before I cast on another pair of socks. And then this is my May sock squad. Oh, I love these. So this is Pentler sock. Love Letters to Finn Bell is what the color is. Or these colors together. So I don't know what pattern I would use for these, but I love the color. So we'll see what those become one day. Who knows? Yeah, I'm kind of in this space with my whips where I'm at max capacity as far as new cast-ons go. I have active test knits going for Andrea Mowry right now, and so those, since I finished Jeanette's, I'm done with Jeanette's test knit. My test knits always get priority as far as making sure that I knit them to a specific deadline. And then I have my personal whip pile that I knit on from in between projects and from time to time, because life can't just be about test knits. It also has to have some fun knits in there too. So one of those in between knits that has been getting my attention more so lately is the Traveler Shell by Andrea Mowry. I casted this on back in January, maybe December. No, I don't think December. Back in January. So I didn't work on it for many months. I casted it on and I got just a little bit down, maybe a couple of the ridges done in the body. And then it just kind of sat languishing. Honestly, I was like, I couldn't pick up on the rhythm of the pattern, knitting the Traveler texture flat. But a few weeks ago, Andrea had a tip on her podcast, I'll Knit If I Want To, about if you look at the back and you get 3 purl bumps on right here. 1, 2, 3. I know that that's really hard to see, but if you get 3 purl bumps, then that means you're, like you got the number you needed for that section and then you switch to the purls. And that tip really helped this textured pattern click. Now I can knit it without feeling like I need that rows 1 through 10 pattern written out like with me all the time. So now I can pick it up and put it down. And also I will say knitting the Traveler texture in the round also helped me realize what the pattern is. It's 3 stockinette to 2 purl rows or whatever. So now I can knit it flat. I've got it down in my head and I can pick it up and put it down when I want. And this has been I've been knitting this in the car line to pick up my daughter from school. I will knit it in the evenings sometimes when I want to break from my test knits and just kind of to totally relax and chill, because I don't have to think with this one anymore. So I'm really excited, and I've made, just in the last couple of weeks, I've made all this progress, but I only had about an inch of the body going. So I've made all this progress in the last couple of weeks. So I'm feeling this happening in my Me Made wardrobe sometime this summer. It's gonna happen. So I am knitting my Traveler Shell out of Bichet et Bouche. Is that how you say it? I am not French, but I try. Bichet and Bouche, La Petite Lamb's Wool, made in the UK. I purchased this from Black Mountain Yarn Shop. It is the gray beige La Petite Lamb's Wool, and I love it. It works quite well in this pattern. I got gauge on the recommended needles. So there you go, stash buster, and I'm super excited about it because it's gonna go with everything in my wardrobe. It's gonna be the best layer to like just throw on over dresses and like whatever. So I'm super excited about that. Okay. Before I move on to, I just have a couple of sewing things to share with you. But considering that Traveler Shell, I cast it on for the Insta Friends cowl. back in January, and I had every intention of actually finishing that back in January for the Insta Friends Cal. Just want to share that and normalize knitting is slow. Knitting is a slow craft, and even though I have a decent sense of my making capacity, I've talked about that before in other episodes earlier, I do overestimate my making capacity easily from time to time, and the Traveler Shell was one of those times that I overestimated my making capacity. So, you know, it's okay if you don't finish things in the time frame you think you're going to. It's okay if it takes longer to make something than what you think it should. The most important thing is that you really are enjoying, or to me, the most important thing is that you are enjoying what you're doing, and that it's bringing you solace, comfort, it's fulfilling something for you. It's filling your cup in whatever capacity you need at the time. I know sometimes knitting is a great outlet for me to de-stress, to de-anxiety, to shift my focus, to relax. Sometimes it helps me to work through jumbled up thoughts when I'm angry. It's helped me to grieve loss. So, it doesn't always have to be about hurrying up and finishing and getting things done within a certain time frame. And it's slow. It's slower than we all probably want it to be sometimes, and that's okay. We've got to respect the slowness. And I think that honestly, the slowness is what makes it so savory and sweet when we finish. So it's like they both go hand in hand. So anyway, moving on to the sewing. I'm gonna see where to put this sock, move my socks in the floor. So the other sewing project I wanted to share with you is the Sage Smock dress. And maybe, let me see, I'm gonna turn the camera this way and stand so you can see this a bit better. So this is a Sage Smock dress by Sew This Pattern. It is a really cute tiered skirt, loose fitting flowy dress. I saw this at Hacer Santa Fe whenever I went to Maker's Circle in March. Laura, the owner, had a Sage Smock dress sewn and on a mannequin, and I immediately saw the dress and I was like, oh my God, what is the pattern? I've got to make that. And I bought this fabric while I was there to make this, and I'm so glad I finally had time to sew it. I love the fit. It's really flowy. I have photos of this on Instagram at Edmiston Creations if you want to check it out and see kind of what it looks like on the body. But it's really fun, and I had so much fun sewing it. And so also I'm wearing my yellow chanterelles with my Brume sweater today. But it has this cute little tie back. I love that. That was really fun to sew. I've never made anything like that before. And the only change that I made on this dress was I did the gathered sleeve, but I did sew the size 10 for the dress. Everything else was the size 10 because it's very flowy. I didn't feel like I needed to make any adjustments there. But in the arm, I used the size 16 arm cuff for the size 10 gathered sleeve. So the size 10 gathered sleeve, like the arm ski fit the bodice, as it was meant to fit. But let's see, turn this a little bit more. There we go. I wanted to make sure I had room in the arm, and my bicep measurement is the biggest, like right where the bicep muscle is. My arm measurement is the biggest where my bicep muscle is. That's how I meant to say that. So I need the room, and just using the size 16, and it's still a gathered sleeve, so you still get that gathered look, but it's not quite as gathered as it would have been if I had used the size 10, but that also would have really hugged my bicep a little too much. And I wanted, this is woven fabric, cotton, so there wasn't going to be any give in that if I did not, create some give. So it fits perfect and I love it. And I just want to say thank you so much to Laura at Hacer for the inspiration to sew that dress, because her having it at the store gave me the idea to make it. So so yeah, I have some other sewing projects on deck. I have finished another hinterland dress that I will share another time. I have a bedrock tank top here cut out in some jersey fabric, some sweatpants. These are berry sweatpants out of fleece, both from U Fibers, and I have a bedrock tee cut out on my sewing table out of the same blue fabric. So those are kind of the next on deck sewing projects, as well as I'm really excited. I have some beautiful Merchant and Mills linen. I'm gonna make some pants and a dress out of this one, a dress out of this one, and a very bit flowy dress out of this one. And then this is the Cairo linen from U Fibers. I'm gonna make the twig pants out of these, or this, not these. And this is some fun, like lavender, purpley fleece, also from U Fibers, that I plan on sewing a Marlowe sweatshirt or cardigan by True Bias out of. But that's just kind of loosely what's on deck. I don't know specifically what order I'm gonna go in and stuff like that. It'll just be as I have time, as test knits and release dates for knitting patterns come due, kind of what's gonna take priority over what. But for right now, I have really noticed I need some more summery and spring sewn tops. So that's what bedrock tees are definitely, and the tank top are definitely on deck. I want to sew a few of those for the spring and summer, as well as some more Ashton tank tops by Helen's Closet. That's a really great fitting top to make with linen. So I have a couple of those in my wardrobe, but it's such a good fit, and it wears well with everything that I would like to make some in some different colors and maybe some prints or plaids, ginghams, we'll see. So that's all she wrote for today, I think. I think that's enough. I would love to hear in the comments what you have been up to, like really what's making your heart sing, even if it's not making related. Yeah, please share below, and in the notes I will have links to like the podcast episode I mentioned earlier, as well as ways to get in touch with me and hook up with me on Instagram. I would love to, be able to see you over there on that platform as well. So until next time, I wish you happy mindful making and enjoy what you have in store this month. Till next time, bye.